This is an artist's theory on the physics of time as a physical process. In this theory, the spontaneous absorption and emission of light forms a process of continuous energy exchange that we see and feel as time. This video explains the correspondence principle within this theory. The correspondence principle says that quantum rules that apply to the atomic scale should correspond to the classical physics of our everyday life. This theory takes the correspondence principle to its logical conclusion, with quantum mechanics representing the physics of time as a physical process, and classical physics representing physical processes over a period of time. Therefore, the Planck constant represents a constant of action within the process that forms the passage of time. The mathematics of Schrodinger's wave equation represents the forward passage of time itself, with the wave function representing the probability of a future event. This is why the wave equation only works one way in time. We can always calculate what the position and momentum was in the past. Also, we have time-dependent quantum mechanics, when the atom is undergoing chemical change that can be measured as a process over a period of time. The atoms of different elements resonate together, forming standing waves in time. If we take the process within water, we have the quantum wave particle function continuously forming and collapsing, with hydrogen bonds continuously forming and breaking relative to the flow of the water. Therefore, we have an arrow of time within the reference frame and relative to the flowing water. But we also have time-independent quantum mechanics, when the atom is isolated, when all we have is the probability of the wave function. This probability is known as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, and in this theory represents the same uncertainty we have with any future event within an individual reference frame. This process is unfolding within an infinite number of dynamic reference frames that are continuously coming in and out of existence. Each reference frame will have an arrow of time, or a timeline, from the past into the future, relative to the energy and momentum of the reference frame. Independent reference frames are continuously coming together, interacting, forming the chaos and uncertainty of everyday life, out of the probability of quantum mechanics. This also corresponds to the process known as entropy and the second law of thermodynamics. In this law, things get more and more disorganized as time goes on. The great puzzle is, where does the organization originally come from for us to have the process of entropy? In this theory, this organization, or low entropy, comes from the electron having spherical symmetry. Nothing has greater organization or lower entropy than a sphere, and when light interacts with matter, it forms a photon-electron coupling, or dipole moment. In this theory, this represents a new moment of creation within an individual reference frame. The best example of this is how plant life interacts with light. We have high-frequency photons from the sun cascading down, forming greater degrees of freedom for the increase in statistical entropy and for the growth and diversity of plant life as the future unfolds, photon by photon. The main effect this process of continuous energy exchange has on us is the aging process, as the spontaneous absorption and emission of photon energy forms a future with greater degrees of freedom for entropy or disorganization for the aging process to take place over a period of what we measure as time in classical physics. This is not just a process of decay, but also a creative process, and can be seen as a process of continuous creation that creates the possibilities and opportunities of life. I believe this is what we are seeing when we see an artist at work. We are seeing the future unfolding with new photon oscillations coming into existence relative to the actions or position and momentum of the artist. Therefore we have the uncertainty principle between position and momentum. Within such a process the past is gone forever as a process of continuous change, formed by the spontaneous absorption and emission of photon energy, with the future coming into existence with each new photon-electron coupling. The wave-particle duality of light is forming an interactive process that we can interact with, turning the possible into the actual. In this theory, creation is truly in the hand and eye of the beholder. Within such a process, the extra dimensions of string theory and the parallel universes of Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation are just future possibilities and opportunities in our one three-dimensional universe of continuous energy exchange. In the mathematics of Hugh Everett's many worlds interpretation, the parallel universes are all at right angles to each other. In this theory, this represents the electric and magnetic fields always being at right angles to each other. The light photon of quantum mechanics is the carrier of the electromagnetic fields, and it is time variations within magnetic fields that act as a source for electric fields, and time-varying electric fields is a source of magnetic fields. When one field is changing in time, then a field of the other is induced. This will be relative to the position and momentum of the objects creating the time variations, the atoms themselves. In this way, we have a totally universal and interactive process that is the same for the planets as it is for each individual observer, with objects and individuals distorting the geometry of space-time by slowing up the rate that time flows relative to their energy. Therefore we have the uncertainty principle between energy and time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and rate. It will help the promotion of this theory.